I wanna shift gears because based on everything.
Sure.
Well, I feel there you go.
get
Thank
serious.
you. Let's because
Sinead O'Connor look. This is for the play.
But this does speak.
Yes.
It speaks to the amazing breadth you have as an actor because this play you're doing, Angels in America, is a very serious play. You're playing Roy Cohn, who's a real person.
Dr. Frankenstein, too.
Yeah, well, he was
monster.
Donald Trump's lawyer and mentor.
Lawyer and mentor.
And,
yes, he paid him to do all his dirty work, which I know is shocking. Donald Trump paying someone
to do his dirty work.
Yeah.
How you played this part before in London?
Yes, 7 months I was there.
7 months. So, and how has it been so far? How's it been returning to it?
Let's put it this way. I've been an actor for 43 years. This is my 21st Broadway show. And I would say this is probably the greatest ensemble of actors I've ever worked with. I mean, certainly the play, is a Pulitzer Prize winner. It's an incredibly funny and profoundly moving piece. And it's all centered around Andrew Garfield, who plays the leading character, Prior Walter, and he's giving a magnificent performance. And so I think if people know the play, you've never quite seen it done like this. Marianne Elliott is the director. She did War Horse, The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. She's incredibly gifted and inspiring director. And this is, if you think you've seen it, you haven't seen this version, and it's well worth checking out.
I can't wait.
It's a magnificent play.
It really is a magnificent play, and I really can't wait to see you doing it. I want to ask about something else that's serious, but you actually have a little history with this as well. You know, obviously Harvey Weinstein came up a little bit last night.
Oh, yeah.
He's come up a fair amount, as well he should. You had a history with him for years, and you had not gotten along with him for a very long time.
Well, I'll tell you what happened. Harvey Weinstein couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. I'm putting my glasses back on for this. Harvey Weinstein, in 2000, my publicist called and said, Harvey Weinstein would like you to host a fundraiser for Hillary Clinton. And he said, you know, he produces a lot of movies. It wouldn't be bad to be on his good side.
Sure.
So I said, okay. And they said he wants to pre-screen the jokes because someone else hosted a fundraiser and said something offensive and he doesn't want to go through that again. I said, okay. But I was working with some writers from Letterman, actually, and who I wasn't worried and we weren't going to do anything offensive. So we never heard from him until the night of the show. And then about an hour beforehand, he came backstage, and like Tony Soprano, and was screaming, you know, you got to cut this, you got to cut that. I don't understand this. This sucks. And I said, no, it's too late. I can't do that now. It's, you know, and as we know, now he doesn't take no for an answer easily. So, things got heated.
Sure.
And unpleasantries were exchanged. And he said, you know, I'll get someone else to do it. I said, fine. I think I saw Regis Philbin out there. See if he's available. And he started to push me into a corner, and he's screaming at me, and it crescendoed with, I'll ruin you, he said. I'll ruin you. Wow. And I said, you can't hurt me. I don't have a film career. So the next thing I know, I'm called up to see Hillary Clinton. She got out of her coffin. She says, listen, you know, I apologize for Harvey, but cut these jokes because it'll just make life easier for all of us. And I gave in and I said, okay. So we do the show. In the middle of the show, I'm supposed to introduce Cher. So then they come to me and they say, Cher is stuck in traffic. Now, when have you last heard that? When you're doing a show. Cher is stuck in traffic. They said, you're going to have to fill. So
Which is a nightmare for anyone hosting anything.
Sure.
The last thing you want to hear.
You got your fill. Yeah. So I went out and I said, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, Cher, who was supposed to be here, had to stop to have some emergency plastic surgery. So in the meantime, I'm going to do all the jokes that Harvey Weinstein made me cut. If you find me in the Hudson tomorrow, you'll know why.
It is so wonderful to see you each and every time you're here.
Thank you.
Give it up for Nathan Lane, everybody.